Raúl Meza Ontiveros, el M6, is a Mexican drug lord that was suspected to work for Javier Torres Félix, el JT, the former leading operator of Ismael el Mayo Zambada. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison after being caught in possession of hard drugs, but was released on the basis of inconsistencies with the case. He is suspected of joining the organized crime industry after his release, where he worked his way up to the ranks. Want to know more about this man, his experience as a cartel boss, and the aftermath of his death? Then sit back and enjoy. Raúl Meza Ontiveros, el M6 backstory. Raúl Meza Ontiveros was born in La Mesa del Rodio, a rural community in Tamazula, Durango, Mexico, on the 11th of December 1966. He was a suspected drug lord and high-ranking leader of Sinaloa cartel, under the leadership of the notorious El Mayo. He was said to be the right-hand man of Javier Torres Félix, el JT, the former leading operator of El Mayo. Meza Ontiveros is also known to be closely related to Javier Torres Félix, el JT, as his brother-in-law. The suspicion of him being a drug lord was brought upon by his arrest for illegal possession of a large amount of Colombian cocaine with several accomplices in 1997 in Cancun, Quintana Roo. After being tried in court, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, he was released in 1998 due to inconsistencies in the case. The investigators of his case raised suspicion that rejoined organized crime in the Sinaloa cartel. It was then he was said to have worked his way up to being a high-ranking leader of the cartel. He died in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico on the 27th of March 2007 after being attacked by armed men. The official details of his death are not known, as his family was closed-mouthed about the events leading up to his death. After his death, there were several unfortunate incidents involving his family leading to many losses. He had a son who followed in his footsteps but unfortunately died early in life. What made him join the drug industry? Though El M6 was born in Tamazula, Durango, Mexico, his criminal career was largely based in Sinaloa, Mexico. His first criminal record was in Sinaloa, where he was arrested by the Sinaloa's Ministerial Police for homicide and false declaration charges in 1989. He was charged with kidnapping, rape, and concealing rape evidence against 2 women by Sinaloa's Office of the General Prosecutor in 1990. It was from there that the Mexican authorities had their eyes on him. He was found with Colombian cocaine of large quantities in 1997, charged and sentenced to prison in 1998. However, he was released based on inconsistencies in the case. Ever since then, he was suspected of working with the Sinaloa cartel and later made it as a high-ranking leader. He was also suspected to have worked closely with Manuel Torres Félix, el M1, brother of el JT, and Misael Torres Urrea, el M2, son of el JT, after the arrest of Javier Torres Félix, el JT, in 2004. Some sources stated that el M1 and el M2 were known to have taken over the cartel alongside el M6 after el JT was arrested. What was el M6's experience as a cartel boss? El M6 started as the right-hand man of Javier Torres Félix, el JT, in the cartel industry, while he was suspected to be involved in drug trafficking as a drug lord. Then he progressed to become the main operator under Zambada after the arrest of his boss. He became more involved in the cartel, which he led with his relatives el M1 and el M2. In 1997, he was arrested with el JT and 2 others, Ramon Lopez Serrano and Manuel Meza Zamudio, for the possession of 348 kilograms, 767 pounds, of Colombian cocaine in Cancun, Quintana Roo. The cocaine was found in a safe house and believed to have been received from traffickers in the Caribbean Sea. The Federal Judicial Police also discovered several vehicles modified with compartments. These vehicles were believed to be used by smugglers intended to conceal the drugs for further distribution in northern Mexico. The police also seized 2 boats and multiple weapons from the safe house. Meza Ontiveros was taken into custody and sent to the military camp in Cancun. There, he was charged to court and tried, where he was sentenced to 10 years in prison that same year. However, a judge granted him release on December 16, 1997. He and the rest of his accomplices were absorbed by the judge because of a mistake the PGR made in assembling evidence. However, he didn't leave prison until March 11, 1998. According to court indictments, the judge cited multiple inconsistencies in the lawsuit presented against the defense. After his release, el M6 was suspected to have gone back to the world of organized crime and was working for the Sinaloa cartel once again. The Subprocuraduría de Investigación Especializada en Delincuencia Organizada, CIEDO, Mexico's former organized crime investigatory agency identified him as a leader of the Sinaloa cartel since his release. They also confirmed that his role and rank within the Sinaloa cartel increased after the arrest of his boss and brother-in-law LJT in 2004. He became the main operator of the Zambada faction of the Sinaloa cartel and was known as a force in the drug trafficking business of the cartel. He worked for El Mayo, one of the most wanted drug lords of all time in Mexico. El M6 contributed to the rise in the reputation of the Zambada faction of Sinaloa cartel as a top leader in drug trafficking. The authorities were not able to nab him until they heard about his death in 2007. His death and the aftermaths. On December 27, 2007, his death was reported by his family. When the Sinaloa Ministerial Police got wind of this information, they said they had no official information about how it happened. The police were first informed of a shootout consisting of armed men at a location in Las Quintas neighborhood. However, on getting there, the shootout had already ended, and they were informed that a wounded man, Meza Ontiveros, was taken to a private clinic by 3 armed assailants. The police went to the clinic but were denied entry by Raúl Meza Ontiveros' family. El M6's death was confirmed by the clinic personnel involved in his treatment. He was only authorized to disclose the name, age of the victim, and that he had died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. His autopsy report stated that he had a coup de grace wound, showed signs of having been beaten, and had 3 wounds in his skull that were made with a sharp object. The Mexican authorities settled that Meza Ontiveros was tortured, but did not disclose the events surrounding his death. The family denied investigators entry to the clinic and requested Meza Ontiveros' death details be confidential. There were various speculations on the events that led to his death, but none were official or confirmed by his family. An account stated that Meza Ontiveros' death was an ambush carried out when he was dropping off his girlfriend in the Montebello neighborhood. There, several men who were waiting for him at the domicile shot him in point-blank range. There were reports of at least 2 gunshot wounds stuck on his face. His case was closed as there was no further attempt to disclose the truth behind his death, and M6 was laid to rest in the presence of his family members. After his death, there were many unfortunate losses involving his family. His sibling, Faustino, aged 27, was reportedly killed by suspected organized crime members on January 8, 2009 in Culiacan. Eyewitnesses stated that he was driving a vehicle in the streets of Culiacan when a pickup truck with armed suspects tried to cut him off the road in an attempt to pull him over and kidnap him. Faustino got out of his vehicle and fled to a store, but the gunman went after him and killed him inside the premises. The police were notified of the incident, but no arrests were made. El M6 had a son, Cesar Raúl Meza Torres, nicknamed El Mini 6 from his father's alias El M6. Cesar Raúl was known as a cartel boss prodigy as he followed his father's footsteps and joined the Sinaloa cartel as a young assassin. He had quite the reputation as he was known as a hot-headed, talented assassin. He was reported to have died in a shootout with security forces on 25th of April 2010 in Zapopan, Jalisco. The shootout occurred after he killed a police officer earlier in the confrontation. Raúl Meza Ontiveros, El M6, died at the age of 40 as a high-ranking cartel boss who served his time, cartel, and his boss as well. He would forever be remembered for his role in the drug trafficking reputation of the Zambada faction of the Sinaloa cartel. There you have it, guys, the story of Raúl Meza Ontiveros, El M6. Kindly give us a thumbs up if you've not done that, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content.